the me that's on the race course and the me that's unleashed when that gun goes off or when that competitive side comes out, like, will destroy people.
Yeah, going long like Sam, yeah. Going long, yeah. Going long like Sam, yeah. Going long, yeah. They asked me what I'm doing, said I'm going long like Sam Long. Going long like Sam Long. Going long like Sam Long. They asked me what I'm doing, said I'm going long like Sam Long. Going long like Sam Long. Going long like Sam Long.
Yo, how is it going, everyone? Here we are. Welcome to my training grounds. This is where I get fit, this is where I get strong, and this is where I get ready to crush everyone. This video is a little bit different. I always get a lot of questions. Where did you come from? How did you get into this? How have you gotten to where you've gotten? And so I thought it was the perfect time as I lead into my first Ironman World Championship to take just a small step back and say where I've come from and why it's important for me. So I started the sport at 18 years old. It started actually in a pretty interesting and unique way. I was a big ski racer at the time, or at least big skier at the time, and I was also running in high school. It was my senior year of high school, and I had been training all winter. I had ambitions to run in college, but the skier in me took over, and over spring break, I jumped off a cliff, and I had an issue with my ski binding, and long story short is I tore my MCL, so I was out. And then my dad at the time, I had 8 weeks, I was in crutches, and it was the inaugural Ironman Boulder, and my dad said, why don't you do Ironman Boulder as your rehab? And I loved the idea, and that's when I became a triathlete. And I started because I could bike first with a knee brace, this big knee brace on my right knee, and then I could swim with a pull buoy. And then eventually I got back to running, and the dream was born, and I went out there and I did Ironman Boulder. This was in 2014 at 18 years of age. I won my age group. I qualified for Kona. I won my age group by 50 minutes actually, and I went 9:27 in my first Ironman. And I remember being at that finish line and just lying there and going like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. This is what I want to be. I had always kind of felt a calling to be a professional athlete, but I was never good enough to be a professional athlete in any sport. And it was like, so I kept on bouncing around from sport to sport to sport in high school, basically yearning like, can I be good at something? Can I be good at something? And then almost immediately I just knew triathlon was my calling.
So you got out of high school and then you started to go to college. What was the journey from college to getting to pursuing a triathlete career?
I actually view my college time as being paramount to my career. I was actually a student first and an athlete second. That was very clear with my parents. That was the path to take. So I actually did 2 majors and a minor in 3.5 years. I majored in psychology and kinesiology, and then I did a minor in business, which is actually basically the 3 things I now do as a triathlete. I trained hard, I studied hard, and I tried to race, and I actually became a professional. It was my sophomore year of college, and it went well at first, actually. I had some good immediate success, but then I actually realized just how hard it was to actually make it as a professional.
So I heard a story about your dad kind of giving you a little bit of an ultimatum. Like, how did that impact your career trajectory out of college?
Yeah, so my dad's a banker. He's all about the finances, he's all about the bottom line, and he's all about being realistic. But of course, he's also about following my dreams and doing what's best for me, and my mom supports that as well. And my mom was more of like, you can do triathlon and you'll make it, and always just kind of supporting me blindly, you could say, or just faithfully. But my dad was kind of like, hey, how are you going to make money in this sport? It doesn't really seem like ends can meet. And he was always like, maybe cycling's better, maybe that's a more viable career because you can, see those people riding on the Tour de France. But I basically made a deal with him right as I was finishing college, and it was, I have till I'm 25 to prove that I can make a career out of being a professional triathlete, and that this is a real job and a real career path. And we didn't really sign a document or anything, but then he basically gave me it was like $2,000, I think, as a graduation present, and it was like, use this money however you see fit to make your triathlon career work out and to follow that, and be realistic with yourself, and if this isn't working, then go and pursue another path. So I was always very aware, like, if I'm not good at this, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do something else. But it also got me to go all in to prove, okay, I can do this and I can make it work right away. So I took that. Well, I took like the first $1,400 and I bought a flight to Australia. I left about 1 week after I graduated college, and I went down there. I knew absolutely nobody down there. I rented an Airbnb in like a big party house for $22 a night. Everyone else there was there to party. I had one room. I went to bed at 8 p.m. every night, woke up at 5 a.m. every morning, and trained the house down and was completely uncomfortable. I had no car for 3 months. I rode my bike to the grocery store. I rode my bike to the pool. And I just got myself completely in the zone of discomfort. And the thing is, I loved absolutely every second of it. And then that was the first year I had some big success, actually.
At what point did you know you had what it takes to be one of the top elite triathletes?
In my mind, I always thought I've had what it takes to be the best in the world. And I guess I've never really questioned myself at the deepest, darkest level, but I've questioned myself more in the process, in the day-to-day, and then saying like, well, when's this going to happen, or how long is this going to take, or am I going to be able to, have a job or have a life or have a girlfriend or have a house or have the finances to invest in the patience required to get to where it takes to be a world-class athlete, and that just took time, and that's why I actually went immediately to Ironman. I've done the exact opposite career path as almost everyone else. They go in ITU and then maybe non-draft Olympic and then 70.3 half distance and then up to the full distance. And I went immediately to the full distance because my swim used to be very, very slow, but I was a strong cyclist, and that gave me the most time to make up on the bike. And then I was a strength runner, so I was able to make some money. I raced 5 Ironmans when I was, I was 22. I raced 5 Ironmans, and I was in the top 5 in 4 out of the 5, and my worst one was 9th place. So that year I was able to make money at every single race, and it was pretty cool being, my first year out of college, and it's like, oh sweet, I'm making $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 at every race, and it doesn't sound like much, but at the time it gave me that nugget of gold I needed.
So what was it like making your way into a very competitive elite bracket of already established pros?
Yeah, I've kind of always been the outsider in this sport of triathlon, so I think coming in, it was kind of the perfect introduction to now who my character or my persona is, because I don't think people liked the young guy coming in who had a lot of belief in himself and was already doing pretty good and ripping up the bike. So you almost get discouraged a little because I think people don't want you to make it, because obviously they're trying to keep the pot of gold for themselves. But on the other hand, I've found very, very dear friends, and I've found very dear mentors who were some of the best professionals in the world, top 10, top 5 Kona guys, who took me in, who gave me advice, who really believed in me and who helped me out. So on the whole, I kind of avoided the negative and found an incredible amount of positivity from a few individuals who really took me under their wing.
All right, so you had a bunch of haters coming into your career as
What's
you started.
new about the haters?
Yeah, right?
Nothing's new.
All right. Like, kind of growing through the sport, how do you handle the haters?
I'm learning to handle the haters every single day, to be completely honest. My coach always likes to say, like, the fact that you get worked up about the negative comments, or, that if someone says, wow, you're a real and this was really selfish or insensitive of you, and you look at yourself and you think about that, shows that you're actually not a total, because you're able to think about other people's opinions and sides of view, even if those same people are people I want to absolutely destroy on the race course. And so I almost have, and people get confused about this, but it's like there are almost 2 sides to me, but it makes perfect sense, because the me that's on the race course and the me that's unleashed when that gun goes off or when that competitive side comes out, like, will destroy people. And I have to almost keep that person in a box most of the life, because that person's just too intense and too extreme for most of everyday life. And then I've got the other me, the happy, the bubbly me, the fun me, I love the community, I love to bring everyone in, I love to make jokes. And so it's like, I think sometimes the mixing of those 2 personas gets kind of misconstrued, and there's almost 2 very distinct me's. But one's the racing and the competitive that you have to have if you're going to be the best in the world, and the other is sort of the everyday Sam.
What race are you most proud of your performance?
The most significant race in my career is definitely 70.3 Worlds, getting 2nd place. that I've had races I've enjoyed more, and I've had races that in the moment like gave me more belief in myself and felt more impactful. And one of those would actually be it was 2020, you know, COVID. We hadn't had races in a long time, and I did a double. I raced Bear Lake Brawl, which is a race nobody will really ever remember, but actually it had all the North American names were there. None of us had raced in forever, and I was able to win it, and I was able to win it big. And then it was sort of this goofy. The swim was kind of crazy. It was crazy conditions. Everyone was saying, oh, it's because Sam's like this really big unit guy, and so he handles the cold really well. But I raced the very next weekend in Cozumel, which was like, it's like the fire of the sun, basically. It's the devil's underbelly. That's how hot it is. And I won that 1 week later. And so then I won the first 2 races back since COVID in a span of 7 days. And I remember, like, when I won that race in Cozumel, it was like, I've got what it takes. And that was the time I think I really knew for sure that I was going to accomplish the things I wanted to accomplish. So that well, from an actual results side, if you write it on paper, I'm completely aware, okay, those aren't the most significant. Those felt the most. That was the most significant to me in my own head.
How do you define success in life?
Oh, wow, this is some serious questions, man. How do I define success in life? Whew, like, I think success for me is determined by my experiences, but also the internal circle I have around me. And so it's honestly not winning a race or winning multiple races. Of course, that's important, and that's a huge part of the goal. But I think the way I go about it is almost more important, and the people I connect with and bring with me, and the people that are really truly a part of my team is what's really important to me, and that I keep my morals intact, and yeah, just that I take the high road and I do it what I believe is the right way. And of course, I want to, if I'm not having fun and I hate it, then I don't want to do it. So yeah, I want to be the best, but I also want to do it my way and the right way.
Going long like Sam Long, going long like Sam Long. They asked me what I'm doing, said I'm going long like Sam Long, going long like Sam Long.
So what do you think it takes to become the best triathlete in the sport?
Well, to be the best triathlete in the sport, you just have to swim, bike, and run very, very well.
Wow.
Yeah.